What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Akalon here. Welcome back. It is a very rainy Friday here in South Africa. We've been having thunderstorms for like the last 2 days, so I thought I'd do this outside while I have time. So Blizzard just made another announcement, a blue post. Basically, personally, I think this blue post should have been about 2-3 weeks ago, before all of these changes happened. You know, considering this is a blue post explaining why they're making all of these changes, you know, why they're removing emotes and removing functionality from certain emotes, and why they're changing women into fruit bowls, and so many other things. I would have considered this pertinent. You know, the players should know beforehand the philosophy, or rather in this case, the ideology that drives the implementation of these changes. But, you know, it is what it is. It's better than nothing, right? It's better than literally the last 4 years, where the player really wasn't included in anything, even remotely gameplay or game change wise. So I want to talk about the blue post. I don't have it in front of me, but I have it pretty well memorized at this point. Read it a couple of times. There's a couple of good things that came out of this blue post. Number one, Blizzard have, let's say, softly committed to not changing player appearances. At least for now, they say that they want to keep the ability for players to express themselves in the hands of the players, which I think is rather good. But sadly, you have to also remember that the same mindset that is going into removing all of these things that Blizzard deem problematic, even though I don't see the evidence in the majority of the Blizzard player base. The majority of players didn't have, but we'll get to that. Let's not get off topic. The same ideology, the same mindset that drives these changes currently is the same mindset that will implement future armors, right? That will make future appearances. So you can probably, most likely, say goodbye to any sort of sexy appearance, and Blizzard only committed to the player's ability to express themselves. So characters like Ysera, Alex, they're probably going to get changed within the next week or two. We'll probably learn that they've upgraded their attire entirely. So that is happening. The other one is actually the Incubus that's been promised since Cataclysm has finally, it's finally going to be implemented, which is actually good, right? It's basically the only good thing that comes out of the blue post, and it's funny because it's the thing that adds something to the game. You know, it's content that's being added, which made me happy. I was happy with that. But let's talk quickly about the changes more in general, because I haven't made videos on every single one of the changes that came into World of Warcraft. The reason being, it's not my circus, not my monkeys, you know. These are, as changes go, they're really minute. They don't really matter, you know. These are things that I would likely never have noticed if it wasn't made public, you know, if it wasn't data mined and it wasn't sort of in a blue post. I would probably never have noticed these things, because I can't remember the last time I've even used a fucking emote in World of Warcraft. Even back when I was playing hardcore, I never used emotes. I'm playing Final Fantasy now, a game literally built around the emote, and the only time I use the emotes is when I have to for a quest. I'm not really, I don't really care, right? As for skimpy outfits or whatever, I play orcs mainly, so, you know, no one wants to see an orc in a skimpy bikini. So yeah, I also don't really care about that. What bothers me more, and this is maybe the reason I wanted to make this video, because I see this quite a lot now. A lot of people sort of going, why do you care? Why does this matter? You know, you wouldn't even have known if it wasn't for data mining. The reason this matters is the ideology that drives it, the mindset that drives these changes. You see, because that mindset is also going to be applied in gameplay. It's also going to be applied in future expansions, future storylines. How long before we get storylines that align just with one side of the political aisle? Because, by the way, these changes all come from one side of the political aisle, and I'm really very much an apolitical kind of guy. I piss off both Republicans and Democrats equally because I don't agree with either on anything, right? So when I would have had the same outcry if these were conservative changes, if Blizzard was making a bunch of conservative changes, although some of these changes might be considered good for the church or the Puritan movement or whatever. Um, I don't like it. I don't like when people take their real life politics and sort of shove them into my game. And I realize for some people this is amazing because you belong to that church. And hey, more power to you, I suppose. But I think you can appreciate why it pisses someone like myself off, why it pisses off people who might not be from your side of the aisle. And it sort of stands to reason that this is going to continue. And the funny thing is that it's not everyone on that side of the aisle that agree with this, by the way. Some of the most ardent sort of opponents to these changes, I know for a fact, are on the left. They're not conservatives. They don't vote Republican, but they're against these changes. So it's good to know at least that the apolitical or the political homeless, and some on the left and some on the right are agreeing on this. I don't want to make this about politics. This is not the channel all the time, but I want to be clear. This is why it's a problem. This is what is currently driving my fear, is that these are going to be changes implemented in future gameplay, right? These things are going to permeate through expansions. And then there's a more important reason why I'm upset, and that is actually, as a gaming company, as a company that makes video games, your most important sort of portion or goal should always be to please your customer, right? It should always be to please the customer, because considering the fact that our money is what drives the game, it's very important that you keep the people who spend the money happy. And the blue post that Blizzard put out makes it very clear they don't give a fuck, right? These changes are not meant for us. These changes have nothing to do with the player. These changes are for the developers. And they made it clear on Twitter as well. There was a developer today. I woke up and a developer tweeted out, I see so many people asking, who is this for? And the answer is, this is for us, right? We, the developers. And my thinking around that is, you've had 6 years as you, the developers, doing whatever you, the fucking developers, wanted to do to the game, regardless of what the players had to say about it. And you fucking ruined it, right? So maybe stop, maybe stop making changes that no one asked for. When the news broke of the Blizzard controversy and people at Blizzard cube crawling and grabbing women by the ass that didn't ask for it, and probably other places that's far worse than the ass, players demanded change. I was one of those players that demanded change. The change we were looking for, Blizzard, was actual real life change, right? In the office, we didn't want you to grab ass when it's not asked for and no one invited you to. No one cares about these changes. These changes change nothing. They are legitimately the epitome of virtue signaling. You are changing things so that you can stand there and go, look at us, this is our new values. Can everyone see how nice our new values are? Fuck off. No, we can't see how nice your new values are because we don't know if you've stopped grabbing ass at the office. So that's all these changes are, and that's why it pisses so many people off, because they're empty. They're empty. They're not meant for the player. So why are you doing it? If this changes nothing for the player, if no player asked for the game to be changed, because considering the fact that World of Warcraft has pretty much always been slightly sexual, right? It's always had some sexual innuendo in it and some dirty thoughts and dirty fucking concepts that most people loved and most people accepted 100%. Most people didn't care, right? Because it's a game, it's a fantasy world. Everyone is welcome. Blizzard goes on and on about how they want to make the game feel inclusive. It's a game with orcs and fucking elves. How much more inclusive can you get it? Like, genuinely, how much more inclusive can you get? No one is excluded in this game. It's a fantasy game. And I think the last thing, the reason I think I'm more pissed off than anything else, no one cries foul about Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy and on every level is far more sexualized than World of Warcraft. No one cries foul. No one cares. No one's causing a stink over Final Fantasy. The developers probably would just laugh it off. People that start causing a stink on it. You want to know why, Blizzard? You want to know why Final Fantasy isn't in the shit that you're in? Their developers weren't playing games with the female employees in the office. Their developers were actually behaving themselves like gentlemen, like men, the way that you're supposed to behave, you know? And I think, Blizzard, you need to wake the fuck up. You need to wake up. Anyway, so I wanted to make this video just to get it off my chest, just so that I can say I did say something, and I realize I'm probably going to lose more subscribers than I gain from this. But at this point, it's not really about that. It's not really about the subscribers I gain or lose as a result of this. I can't sit by anymore, you know? I'm sorry, I can't. I can't sit by anymore and watch the game that I've loved for, you know, more than a decade, considering I started playing in Warcraft 2. More than 2 decades, actually. I can't just sit by and watch it burn, you know? Maybe I should. Maybe the right thing to do is to just say, fuck it, let's move on, you know? It's not waste of time anymore. But I can't. I don't know, for some reason it just feels like I need to say something, you know? I need to offer some resistance to the madness. And even if no one hears that resistance, even if no one watches this video, which is entirely possible, I at least said something, you know? I can at least point back and say, Akko, you tried something, you know? Anyway, not gonna waste your time anymore. Thank you so much for watching. To all of the Twitch subs and the YouTube channel members, thank you so much for your support. It really means the world to me. Patrons, you know that you are incredibly special to me. If you want to support this channel, if you want to help out, please consider becoming a patron. $5 a month, you get access to a weekly podcast, and hey, it's pretty good, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace.